These are Somali soldiers that have just taken us to the front line, but we couldn't get any further because the Ethiopians don't like a press presence. The Ethiopians seem to do most of the fighting in Mogadishu, and we saw basically a company size marching through the town to regroup at the front line. As you can see, these guys, the Somalis, are armed with AK-47s and a PK weapon. It's a general purpose machine gun. As the fighting continues in Mogadishu. More Somali soldiers going who knows where. Don't really know what fighting the Somali soldiers are doing. Most of it seems to be done by Ethiopians. But here in downtown Mogadishu they congregate as people seem to go about their daily business.
The Lafoli Hospital, it's about 20 kilometers south of Mogadishu. 1,800 families who have fled from the capital have come here. Another 10, 20, 30 families arrive every day to escape the shelling. They're terrified. They live in the most basic of shelters, on the floor. It's baking hot. They have nothing with them. They're terrified. They're penniless. They have no jobs. They are surrounded by children. There is diarrhea, an epidemic of diarrhea in the hospital. They fear that cholera is coming. It's a desperate situation.
This is Kashe Mohammed. She's the mother of 7 children, aged 13 to 2. She, her husband and her children walked here 20 days ago from Mogadishu, 20 kilometers away, with absolutely nothing. They came because their house was being shelled. The area where they lived was being shelled by Ethiopian forces supporting the government. And as you can see, they're in a bad way. They were given a tarpaulin for shelter, but they get soaked every time it rains. They're living on mud. They have one carpet to try and keep them clean. The daughter is 8, has water diarrhea, and as you can see, she's stick thin. There are flies everywhere, and the boy is 5, and he too has water diarrhea. It's really a tragic tale, and one repeated any number of times around this hospital. This is Amina Abuka, and this is her 40-day-old baby. A few days ago, their house in the residential district of Mogadishu was shelled by the Ethiopians. The baby we found on the operating table here in Medina Hospital, with his stomach slit open and the doctors searching for shrapnel inside his tiny abdomen. The baby is one of literally hundreds of patients, civilians, men, women, children, who are pouring into the Medina Hospital every day now with terrible injuries from shrapnel. The hospital is hot, it's absolutely packed. Every ward, the corridors, overflow tents outside are filled with the injured and the wounded. As the fighting in the Somali capital intensifies by the day. This is one of the patients in the Medina Hospital, which is the main emergency hospital in Mogadishu. As you can see, she's in a bad way, in one very crowded little ward. As we walk out into the corridors, it gets no better. Everywhere people who've been injured in Ethiopian shelling of residential areas. It's hot, it's smelling, relatives are frantically trying to keep their wounded family cool with makeshift fans. This is a hospital built for 65 patients. But as you can see, there are many, many more than that, many times that number in here now. There are women, children, men, young and old, all of them civilians, who've been caught up in the crossfire between the forces of the government backed by the Ethiopians and by the insurgents, remnants of the Islamic courts and members chiefly of the Hawaii clan, which is the dominant clan in Mogadishu.